What is up, Commanders? RTG here, and welcome back to another video on Command & Conquer Remastered Collection. Now, before I continue, I want to say a massive thanks to each and every person that's been supporting and following my content over the last month, as I've seen a significant growth in not only the views but as well as the comments, seeing many familiar names pop up as well as a lot of new ones. So I just want to say thanks to each and every person that's been supporting my content. I really do appreciate every single person that views and comments and subscribes. With that said, don't forget that I'm giving away not only one but two copies of Command & Conquer Remastered Collection, and you will find a link to that competition in the comment sections below. Now onto the video. March has been a pretty crazy month with regards to Command & Conquer Remastered news and Command & Conquer as a franchise as a whole, because not only did we get a reveal trailer or an official announcement trailer of Command & Conquer Remastered Collection, but we also got news on the collector's edition as well as the release date. So in this video, I want to talk about everything that we basically know about the Remastered Collection. So if you've been following my content for a while now, this video might seem pretty out of date, as you most probably know everything that I've spoken about over the past few months and the news that's been running wildly this past month. But if you're new to my channel, or if you just want a recap on everything we know so far, then this is probably the right video for you. Starting off with the most important thing is the release date. Command & Conquer Remastered Collection is releasing on June the 5th on PC for Steam as well as Origin. It is priced at $19.99, and if you have the Steam version, or if you pre-order and purchase the Steam version, then you don't need Origin, but you still need an EA account to log in to authenticate your game essentially, and then you can go back to Steam and play the game as usual. There is also two other editions, two physical editions that they're also releasing on limited run, and it is sort of like a deluxe edition as well as a 25th year collector's edition. Both of them comes with a lot of physical awesome goodness, and I will leave a link at the end of this video where I talk in detail about what each edition includes. But what you have to know is that the special edition or the deluxe edition costs essentially $60, and the 25th year anniversary edition or the collector's edition essentially costs $150. Those can be pre-ordered on limited run, and they will be released at a later stage. Jim Vasella did state that before 5th of June you will be sent a Steam key for the game, so you can start preloading and playing before your physical edition arrives. Another thing to note is that you can only order one of these editions until April the 10th, as it is on Limited Run's website, and as the name implies, there will be a limited run. As for what is included in the Remastered Collection, you have Command & Conquer Tiberian Dawn, its expansion which is Covert Operations, as well as Red Alert, plus its two expansions, the Aftermath as well as Counter-Strike. Included in all of that is the PlayStation exclusive missions as well as the PlayStation cutscenes. Speaking of cutscenes, many people spoke and speculated on how they're gonna remaster the cutscenes, and Petroglyph or Jim Vasella from EA specifically spoke in length about how they're doing the cutscenes, and they're essentially upraising and smoothing out the cutscenes, which might not be the remastered cutscenes that everybody wanted, but it is the best they can do with the content they have. It is highly recommended that you watch the 17-minute video of Jim Vasella, where he speaks about the process where he found the old tapes and what they did to remaster the cutscenes. In addition to that, there will also be tons of bonus videos and footage never before seen by anybody else that they found in the old archive footage. These videos will be unlocked as you play through the game and as you do certain objectives, so there will be an incentive for replaying the game on a more difficult. So there will be an incentive for replaying the game on a harder setting. As for replay value, the map editor, yes, it is returning to Command & Conquer, and you will not only be able to create your own custom maps, but your own custom missions as well. That is something I'm extremely excited about, not only creating my own missions, but seeing what the community can come up with. We've seen many games in the past that has custom editors, and we've seen some incredible content coming from the community, so this really excites me to see what kind of missions I'm going to be able to play once I finish the main campaign. Skirmish mode will both be available for Command & Conquer Red Alert as well as Command & Conquer Tiberian Dawn, including a bunch of new modes such as 1v2v3 or 2v2v3, just to name a few, and you can also watch matches essentially if you want to be a shoutcaster. Both games will support online multiplayer options. However, EA has yet to confirm anything regarding offline LAN play. All the units and buildings have been carefully recreated, keeping the authentic feel of the original games, but if you want to play the game as it were in 1995 and 1996, you can easily swap out to the legacy version with a touch of a button. So you can essentially play the game in remastered mode or legacy mode on modern systems. Thus you can really see the detail Petroglyph and EA has put behind this game, remastering the classic Command & Conquer games. The multiplayer portion of Command & Conquer Remastered Collection will be handled by Petroglyph and their Petroglyph architecture, as they're more familiar with multiplayer games as they have experience with games such as Conan Unconquered as well as Grey Goo, so you know these guys know how to handle an online RTS system. One of the most iconic things of Command & Conquer is the soundtrack, and you'll be happy to know that Frank Klepacki returned to re-record most of the audio with his band to the Tiberian Suns, and that will be available in a new jukebox editor which not only has the original soundtracks but a lot of new unreleased soundtracks that was never before found in the original games. Additionally, Jim Vasella did an AMAA extensively and Ask Me Almost Anything on Twitter, where the community asked him a bunch of questions about this remastered collection, and some of the important things to note is that unfortunately you cannot cross-play in multiplayer with the two games. Essentially, if I'm Soviet, I cannot face against NOD or GDI, so you'll have to launch those games separately and play within those games itself. That is a bit of a bummer, because I would have loved to see the GDI face against Allies or Soviet, or NOD face against Allied or Soviet. Another important thing to note is many people requested if this game is only coming to PC. However, Jim Vasella didn't outright state no, he just said that that is not on their plans at the moment, but they have not ruled out the idea of it. Speaking of long-term plans, many people asked if they're gonna do essentially a Volume 2 collection, which might include Red Alert 2, Tiberian Sun, Generals, Renegade, and Jim Vasella stated that at the moment all their focus is only on Command & Conquer Remastered Collection, so they will see forward how things goes. That kinda gives me the indication that if Command & Conquer Remastered Collection sells well, which undoubtedly I think it will, then they might consider doing a Volume 2 collection, which, as I said, might include Red Alert 2, Tiberian Sun, Generals, and maybe even Renegade. As for the gameplay itself, I already said that you can switch out between the remastered version and the legacy collection, but you can also play the game in 4K detailed quality in addition to zooming in and out. That is something that Red Alert or Tiberian Dawn never had in the past, so it'll be really awesome to zoom in and really appreciate that 4K remastered quality that Petroglyph and EA Games have created. One massive thing with this being EA Games is that they said right at the beginning that there's going to be no microtransactions or loot boxes within this game. So if you pay $20 to get this game, you get everything. And that honestly is a relief, especially coming from EA Games. In terms of system requirements, you do unfortunately require Windows 8 or Windows 10, and they said with Windows 7 it isn't officially supported, so take that with a grain of salt. I'm sure there will be ways to get the game working in Windows 7, but don't quote me on that. The voice actress for Ava is also recreating all her lines, but you will have the option to have the original voice should you prefer that one above the remastered voice. With the game being just over 2 months away, there is definitely a lot of excitement regarding the remastered collection. However, in terms of upcoming news, well, as I said, the game is just over 2 months away, so I honestly don't see EA or Petroglyph updating us with any more news, aside from maybe a launch trailer or perhaps some of the devs playing extensively multiplayer matches to show us the full extent of the remastered collection. In terms of what follows after the remastered collection, well, that is anybody's guess. At the moment, I am speculating that they are most likely starting to work on concepts for a remastered Volume 2 because they can see that the community is really craving for Red Alert 2 as well as Tiberian Sun. But as for a completely new next generation Command & Conquer game, I still have a feeling that EA could possibly be working with either Petroglyph Games or DICE in order to create a completely new Command & Conquer game, possibly scheduled for 2021. I've said that in many videos, and I might be wrong on that. However, my gut feeling is just saying that it won't be long before we hear of a completely new Command & Conquer. One odd thing that also strikes me regarding the release date is that the release date is around what was originally gonna be E3. Now we know E3 was cancelled because of the circumstances around the world. However, had E3 not been cancelled and EA had their EA Plaything at E3 or around E3, I am wondering if they would have teased us with a new Command & Conquer and then saying the Command & Conquer collection is available right now. But that is just me pulling things out of the air, being hopeful about the franchise in general. So again, don't quote me on that, as none of this is true and it's purely me speculating on what I've seen over the past few months. Regardless, with the remastered collection being just over 2 months away, it's never been a better time to be a Command & Conquer fan, and as I said at the beginning of this video, I am giving 2 copies away, so check the comment sections below to see how you can enter and stand yourself a chance to win one of 2 copies of Command & Conquer Remastered Collection. But with that said, if any news drops regarding the Command & Conquer franchise or the collection, you can be sure that I'll be bringing you an updated video as soon as it drops, so make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already, and let me know in your comment sections below which is your favorite team, NOD, GDI, Soviet or Allied. If you had to choose one between those 4, who would you go with? But for more Command & Conquer content, check out the rest of my channel. If you enjoyed this video, then give me a thumbs up. If you dislike it, then give me a thumbs down. But please tell me why so I can improve my videos. My name is Frank, I'm the RedTieGuy, and frankly, thank you for watching. Catch you guys in the next video.